Are some jazz writers Republicans? I know that's a pretty far-fetched idea, but some of the things that I see in print, well, there are certain parallels between what people write and I think the way Republicans act. I recently read a blog entry from a very popular blog that shall go unnamed here because I don't want to turn this into a personal attack. But in this blog entry, the individual wrote that jazz today is kind of boring, that when they go out to hear music in New York, nothing new, nothing fresh, nothing exciting. Summing up, the writer said, today's music will probably be forgotten. Of course, everyone has their own unique perspective. Everyone hears things differently. But when you set your words in print or online, you invite discussion and disagreement. And as we can see from the comments that regularly appear alongside articles and blog entries, that people have strong opinions. And I have a very strong opinion as well. I'm in total disagreement with this blog entry that there's nothing interesting happening in jazz. There's plenty happening. Lots of great music, and it's not only in New York. It's all over the planet now. You know, it's very easy to draw attention to oneself by writing negative generalizations. In fact, there's a whole tabloid media whose stock and trade is to bombard our culture very successfully with tits and ass and innuendo. When I ask, are some jazz writers Republicans, the comparison comes from the negative modus operandi that the Republican Party employs in the United States today. They have nothing to offer, no new ideas. The only thing they can do is criticize and attempt to destroy. Now, we have a group of writers, the finger pointers, the naysayers, the people who are the gatekeepers who tell us that jazz is in trouble, that there's nothing happening. Is this a sign of aging, this inability to accept anything new? Sadly, when listening to music, some people are kind of frozen in time when it comes to their taste. The music that we hear when we're young, probably between 15 and 30, that becomes the yardstick by which we measure everything that comes after that. So it takes really big ears and the ability to change to hear what's happening now. It's much easier to stay in the past. I don't compare today's musicians to their predecessors. I know where they came from, but when I hear Gerald Clayton or Robert Glasper, I don't compare them to Monk or Bud Powell. The truth is, to be a great musician, you have to be an individual, not a copycat. And an individual's creativity is shaped by their experiences and the times. These sorts of comparisons, this turning creativity into a competition, it disrespects not only the musicians of today, but their ancestors. It also helps to propagate a certain kind of negativity that I think ends up keeping people from actually listening to what's happening today. For me, I think what's different and essential about jazz is it keeps changing, and the audience keeps changing as well. Different segments of the audience have their own ideas about just what jazz is. What bothers me is the number of self-appointed experts who profess to have the answer, when in fact, there are many answers. Jazz is a complex music that exists in a culture dominated by tabloid media offering simple, easily digestible fast food solutions. Diversity is not an easily exploitable commodity. You've been watching clips from the Mid-Atlantic Jazz Festival held in February 2010 in Rockville, Maryland. You know, it was a really tough winter at the beginning of 2010, but that didn't matter because there were a lot of very happy, enthusiastic people listening to music created by many musicians, from kids to veterans, from internationally acclaimed players to local cats seeking to showcase for their creativity. Jazz warrior Willard Jenkins served as artistic director for the Mid-Atlantic Jazz Festival.
Well, gee whiz, if this thing is dead, how is it these young people are still interested in playing this music? And many of them playing it well. How is that they're still coming along, they're still interested in playing it? What is it that challenges them as people to want to play something that every time they read something, every time they turn around, every time they listen to the radio or whatever they hear, oh, the record industry's dying and nobody wants to go hear the music, and you got some naysayer like Terry Teach out talking about the audience is dead and no one's listening to the music and these dire consequences. But then you think, well, okay, that's the case. What is it about these youngsters that they still want to play this music? You have to be optimistic about the future of this music in some respect. And you always go back to Jackie McLean, what Jackie McLean used to say. And he said, jazz is like the roach. You can't kill it.
Jazz is never dead and jazz is never dying. It's always been kind of a struggle that helps to make the music so unique. Jazz is here to stay. It's too important, and it feeds the soul. And just by the response this weekend, this music is very, very powerful.